Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis of commodities. We're going to take a look at the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. You're going to get my financial opinions around these. If you guys need any help with anything, definitely check out finding-value.com. You can become a platinum member. Use the word discount in the coupon code. Get yourself a discount. Try it out. And we have midweek updates, and we've got a Saturday 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time platinum question and answer session this weekend coming up. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look at what's going on with the market. So we've got the DXY. DXY is a relative strength indicator. We've got Batman here. There's the Batman pattern. That's generally a topping pattern, and we are heading lower. If we look at in here, we have very strong buying pressure through this area here, but it's changed ever since the scare and fear in the markets with the banks. Now, are the banks going to be, is that fear going to reside? Is there going to be further problems in the banking system? If it were my guess, I'm going to say yes, because you can see it in how the yields reacted. I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. But I do think that we could maybe come down to this level down here, and we'll see where we go from there for the DXY. Generally speaking, though, when interest rates go down, the dollar generally follows with it. So I do think that the dollar DXY could travel further lower to the downside when interest rates reverse. I'll put it that way, whether they pause or if they reverse. The 10-year yield up 1% today. This is the 10-year. Now, we do have it looks like kind of that Batman pattern starting to form. And are we going to head lower? If we head lower, generally speaking, it's the curves uninverting, and we're going to see, I think, precious metals do incredibly well. We've got this large downside selling pressure here, and it looks like we're getting a bounce here that could roll over. So that's what I'm looking for. Are yields going to roll over? If yields roll over and the curve uninverts where the 10-year falls faster than the 30-year, then I think we've got our alignment for precious metals. Bond prices sideways today, not really doing too much for the 20-year bond price. 30-year yields, this still looks all right to try to go higher for the 30-year yield. And we did have the 10-year go up more than the 30-year. That's also another condition. Now, is this kind of the Batman pattern that we are going to look for? I don't know. Maybe this comes all the way up, comes back down. We'll see on the 30-year yield. But right now, it is heading higher, up 0.61%. TYX TNX ratio, we've broken above this downtrend line right here. I think we'll do a return move, and then we're off to the races to the upside. Every time this goes up, it's the curve uninverting, and precious metals really likes that type of move. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. I'm in that camp right now, and I have to see evidence for this to reverse and head way lower. But right now, we are broken above that trend line, and if that trend holds, we are going to go higher in this ratio, which is positive for PMs. Looking at the CRB index. CRB index is right on that resistance level. We're right on it. Are we going to break on up, or are we going to roll on over? That's for us to find out. And some people think, like Cuppy, they think that we're gonna move a lot higher in a lot of different commodities. I'm still indifferent on it. As those yields start to roll over, it says something's wrong with the economy or the markets. Generally, when that rolls over, and this could roll over, and I'm not denying that. We'll have to see and wait. We'll have to wait and see what comes. The CRB to S&P 500 just moving sideways here, or up 0.6%. Little double top kind of action heading back down, but over time, when we flush out in wave 2 everyone who thinks they're a commodity bull and they can handle it, we're going to have a massive wave three. Life-changing, life-altering moves in commodities are coming during wave three. But we're still in wave two, and people are losing, especially the retail sector. They just do whatever the price does. If it goes up, they're bullish. If it goes down, they're bearish. But I think wave two will bottom at some point. We could have an extra few months if the markets want to pull back, because we do see yields pulling back, and maybe we put a bottom at some point before heading on higher. Gold, gold's up today, up 15-ish dollars. We are flirting with all-time highs. Well, not yet, but I think we will be if we can go up above 2070-ish per ounce. Right now we're at 1971, so we got about $100 to go, and it looks fantastic to continue higher. Silver also heading higher, confirming that bullish view on gold, and we'll see if that momentum can continue in silver. Platinum down a little bit. Platinum trades a little bit on different metrics than gold and silver. It's not necessarily a fear trade, so to speak, but I still think platinum looks incredibly good from a long-term perspective. We've got the three humps. We're consolidating here in what I think is an accumulation little cylinder going on, and we'll see if we can break and move on higher. XAU to gold ratio is also starting to outperform gold itself. We're seeing this start to move higher. I am getting ultra bullish on precious metals, royalty companies, and mining stocks. As this moves up, I do think there's a good possibility that XAU to gold breaks through this and moves higher over time. Gold and silver mining companies would outperform gold, and I think gold's going to move higher. So if that happens, there are some incredible opportunities in XAU, the royalty companies, and the gold and silver mining companies. GDX up 2.5% today, looking quite strong, finishing strong. So that's looking really good. So if we back out and take a look at the gold and silver mining companies, we can get a little bit of momentum here. I think we could be heading on up. It looks pretty good in the short term. SILJ also heading higher today, up 2.75%. There we are. It is playing with this downtrend line if you do a long-term downtrend line. We're hitting the tops here, and we could be breaking out hopefully soon. If we see a breakout, and we see a breakout in XAU to gold, and we break that big long-term downtrend for happiness is what I call it, we could see these things really rocket, guys. The conditions are there for that to happen. It may not happen immediately. It may take 4, 5, 6 months, or maybe it does it very quickly. I don't own the market, so to speak. I can't tell them what to do. They're going to move at the speed that they want to move, but I'm watching this very closely. Crude oil also higher, 0.81%. We're right on that resistance level. We'll see if this rolls over or if we break to the upside. There's a huge debate on which way oil is going to go. We got the technical analysis guys think it's going to roll over. The fundamental guys say, nope, it's going way higher. I'm in the neutral camp. I think it can go either way. I don't know which way it's going to go. The technicals do look like it could go lower, and the fundamentals definitely look like it could go higher. So both sides making absolutely logical sense on which way crude oil could go. Looking at history, given kind of where the market conditions are, if there's fear in the market, oil's not a spot to be. It'll probably go lower. If the fear resides, I think definitely we would go higher. So really, it just depends on if the fear is going to remain in the market or not, and what there is to be fearful about. If we have a crash type scenario, I think we're going to head lower in the short term. Long term, definite big bull. Natural gas slightly lower, 2.5%, and I do think that we're going to come down to this bottom here roughly, which we're doing, and I think we'll probably try to find a bottom here at some point soon. We've already had a big old move lower, and that's probably consolidating here for a move on up at some point. XOP, yeah, you know me, up a little bit today, 1.31%. We are getting a little bit of a wick at the top here. Maybe we see some selling pressure coming where it goes lower. Highly depends on where oil goes with it and if the fear remains in the market or not. Looking at OIH up 2.4%. Again, we've got larger selling pressure here. We've got more days coming on up that generally, to me, thinks like we're going to roll over. We also have some really strong selling pressure back here. So the momentum is to the downside. The buyers really have to turn this thing around. I do think that we could go lower in the short term. We're up against resistance, which is a possibility. Doesn't mean I'll be right, though. Looking at the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, up 1.7%. This is looking a lot better. We're putting in a bullish engulfing today, so let's see if we can get this to move on higher. Looking at URNM, also moving up today, 2.83%. We've got this large selling pressure area here. It's trying to bottom out, and hopefully we can get some momentum to work our way on higher for URNM. TAN's still moving sideways. This thing has been squeezing, and we'll see where that resides, either up or down. COPX, looks like we've got some momentum to the upside, 1.77. We've got support underneath us. That's this guy here and here. We do have shortages or deficits of this metal coming up here. Inventories are very low. So I expect this to be pretty resilient. So either sideways to slightly higher is what I think. But that highly depends on if that fear creeps back into the market. If the fear creeps back in, we're going to go a little bit lower before that. And it just gives you one big buying opportunity. Lithium also up 1.14%. The momentum is heading down to the downside. So it gapped up, a little bit of momentum to the downside. We're below this resistance line that we have to break through here. REMX popping higher today, up 6%. Again, we got to break through that resistance level. The blue line there to kind of get our momentum shifting to the upside. Right now, it's still to the downside. SPX basically moving nowhere. We'll see where this goes. Looks like it's a duel between the buyers and sellers here. Positive thing is it didn't get sold off too much, which is positive for the buyer side. NASDAQ also slightly lower, but we're still above support. We'll see if this can gather the strength to move on higher. We do have some negative bearish engulfing and a bearish piercing that does put downward pressure on it, but it didn't get sold off hugely today, which means that maybe there's some buyers underneath this market. Emerging markets looking pretty good. I think this is going to go higher. I actually think emerging markets is a good spot to look at. We've broken the downtrend here, and I think we'll eventually work our way higher. Again, it depends if that fear creeps back into the market. If we have fears of recession, fears of banking crisis, all that stuff, yeah, it very well could end up heading a little bit lower in the short term. XHB, the home builders, we're right on support. Not really much to say there. We got a little downtrend line that we have to break. MOO, this still doesn't look that great. We've got lots of selling pressure through here. We came back up, got pounded again, and it's like it's struggling to move higher. So I think this is probably going to head lower in the short term. That is MOO. Copper, right on the resistance line. We'll see if we can break to the upside. We've got lumber. Lumber is getting hit to the downside. We could see a pullback, guys. I mean, it is possible. We've got lots of crosswinds in this market with positive signals and negative signals. We'll see which way they break. FEF, this is iron ore looking all right. It's broken out of this trend. It's looking pretty good. Nickel also firming up as much as it can. Again, this could go lower though. We still have downside momentum behind it. Aluminum slightly higher. Still looking not too bad. I mean, it's a lot of candlesticks to make very little progress. So we'll see. We'll see which way that goes. Baltic Dry Index slightly lower. I do think this is going to pull back a little bit before heading higher, just because of the way that these candlesticks have slowed the momentum. We've got Newcastle Coal. It's probably going to try to find a bottom here at some point. It's not there yet. And then Ethereum. up 3.7%, getting a nice buy day today. We'll see if that momentum can continue upward. There's BTC as well. Inverted head and shoulders, I do think that will go higher. So that's what we've got for today, guys. I would say of all the areas, I'm getting pretty bullish on precious metals, based off the market conditions, based off how yields are performing, even how you can compare ETF to ETF. GDX is usually outperforming on the short term. So I think that's where I would be looking. If you guys need any help figuring out what companies you want to look at or buy, check out finding-value.com. Come to the Platinum question and answer session. You can ask about companies if you'd like, or the market conditions and what I'm seeing and why I hold those views. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.